Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to day 2 of our Define Tomorrow virtual conference. My name is Barry Coombs, and I'm the Chief Technologist here at Computer World. We've brought together a selection of industry-leading specialists and content that we know that will matter to our customers and those of you that are managing IT strategies inside your business. Yesterday was all about infrastructure modernization. Today, workspace transformation, and tomorrow is all about security. For those of you that don't know Computer World, we've been around for about 25 years. We're based out of the UK, and we're a team of specialist consultants, as well as offering reseller services, support services, and training from our office here in Bristol. We specialize in 3 areas, which is very much aligned to the days of our conference. The first being all around infrastructure modernization, everything that goes on behind the scenes that the users aren't really aware of unless it goes wrong. We then come into the world of the user and workspace transformation, everything that matters around the user, which is what we're going to be talking about today. And then finally, security and protection is probably one of the most important elements to an IT professional today. As I've already mentioned, yesterday was all about infrastructure modernization. We were lucky enough to have some fantastic speakers, including Duncan Epping and Frank Denneman from VMware. You can go and watch all that content now on demand by looking at the replay section at the top. Today, we're going to be focused on everything matters to the user, from the devices to the applications they use, to how you as IT managers and IT architects manage that environment. We'll also be looking at the intersection with the business and the changing responsibilities in IT around workspace transformation. Then tomorrow is all around security, and we're partnered with SecureWorks and CBG, as well as others such as Barracuda, to bring you some fantastic content around the changing landscape of security. If you get any problems over the next 3 days, or when you watch the content over the next 14 days, feel free to give Megan an email at the address at the bottom, and we'll do our best to help you to ensure you can make the most of your time watching the Define Tomorrow content. As I've already said, we've got some fantastic speakers. I think we've got over 60 sessions over the total length of the conference, over 30 hours of content in total. If you scan the QR code on screen, you will find the full rundown of the sessions, and you'll be able to go and add those to your agenda either live over the next 2 days or on demand for the next 14 days afterwards. We also have a massive amount of prizes. If you head over to live.computerworld.co.uk/perks, you will go and see them all. But for those of you that are tuned in watching this now, we have 50 lunches to be won with Just Eat vouchers being sent out around midday. So you're already in the competition to win your lunch for today. For each session that you watch during the conference, and if you fill in the questionnaire at the end, you will receive a separate entry into our tech bundle, including a DJI drone, a Alexa Show, some Surface Buds, and a Quest 2 headset, as well as a raft of other prizes that you can see on the screen. So just go and head over to the link on screen there to find out how you can be within a chance of winning. This event simply wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. We haven't only chosen these as they were willing to help us put on this event. These are technologies that we at Computer World work with on a daily basis, as we're helping customers around our primary technologies of Microsoft, Dell, and VMware. We need those other third parties to help us deliver full solutions to help us meet our customers' outcomes. And I'm really pleased with the partners that have helped us put this event on. So without any further ado, I think it's time to talk around the main subject of today's conference, all around workspace transformation. And certainly any of you that know me know this is an area that I'm passionate about, probably for a few reasons. The first is I'm a geek. I love a gadget. I love a new end-user computing device, the latest iPad, the latest Dell XPS device. Whatever that will be, I am someone that likes to try and make sure I'm as productive as possible, find new ways to interact with technology. And that is an area that workspace transformation really kind of satisfies me and helps me with that side. But the other side of it is making sure that we're in a position as technologists, as IT professionals, to help the business and help the users. And this is what workspace transformation is all around. We've been on a massive journey over the last 9 months, and I'm really sorry to put this slide up. I think we're all a bit sick of it at the moment. But the last 9 months, the COVID epidemic, the lockdown and working from home, we've seen 2 years worth of innovation just in the 2 months of that time, according to Microsoft. We as IT professionals have had to run around and get technology working in ways that we simply, for most, weren't ready for, weren't expecting. We were all on a journey to increase flexible working, and we've had to deliver it overnight. If you watch the panel session, Spencer Pitts talks about the 3 Rs, about responding to what happened before we start reflecting, and then we rethink, actually, what does this mean for the future? Highly recommend you go and watch that session later on this morning, the Workspace panel session. But I just want to take a bit of time just to reflect on the journey that we've been on so we can understand what comes next and what we should be focusing on as IT professionals, looking at the workspace and looking at our users. I think the first thing that we need to stop doing is calling them the users. It was pointed out to me that there's only 2 industries where the consumer is called the user, and that is drugs and in IT. Our colleagues are expecting to work with us to further their productivity, to be more successful for the business. And we need to work hand in hand with those colleagues inside our business, helping them make them more professional. Now, most of you will be very familiar with the graphic we've got on the screen here. We're very used to 5, 10, 15 years ago seeing the device on the user's desk looking very much the same, the beige tower that is sitting under the desk, connected to your LAN, that is running the applications that are in your data center. It was a very easy time for IT professionals to be able to manage this. The users didn't have a choice. They couldn't get a different device out of their pocket and pick it up and go and use that instead. IT had full control with what was going on. But it was clear that couldn't last for much longer. I'm glad we don't have those CRT monitors anymore. And we've kind of modernized the desktop. We've got a fresher looking desktop. We've got lovely, if you're lucky enough like me, lovely curved monitors, or at least LED, LCD monitors on desks. But that isn't transformation. That is an evolution from where we've been. Not much changed from when we were in that previous place to where we were today. It's simply a different device on the desk doing something that has always been doing. We were in this continuous monotony of upgrading from one operating system to another, from one application version to another. But now today, there is so much more to think about when it comes to the workspace and modernizing your workspace. We've got a raft of different devices, different platforms, different operating systems. Some of those owned by the business and some of those owned by the users. I want you to think, what is your bring your own device strategy? Do you have one? And if your answer is no, then who are you fooling? The users are probably bringing their own device anyway. Whilst you are giving them a primary device, which I believe is going to be around for quite some time, users are choosing to pick up their own personal phone, their own personal iPad. I've been working personally with organizations over this lockdown period, and I've seen mass usage of personal devices, certainly iPads when it comes to annotation and reading content. Certainly programs, applications like WhatsApp being used inside of a business to kind of formulate a way to continue communicating as we've been on this period. The world has changed, and I believe changed forevermore. Whilst we've got vaccines coming in, I think it was announced next week in the UK, we're seeing the first vaccines. I think the growth and the flexibility around flexible working is here to stay. And there will be 2 choices. Your organization can either force people back into the office, or the users will vote with their feet and they will choose, actually, I want a job that is allowing me to continue that flexibility. So I want to discuss 3 specific points today. The first is work as an activity and the impact that is having on your LAN. The second is the devices and the type of devices that you are using and how are you managing and maintaining those, particularly the full life cycle. And then finally, all around the applications and the adoption of those applications inside your organization. We need to change the way that IT is looking at some of these IT projects. So first of all, the first point, work is an activity and the impact on your LAN. We always used to say, oh, we're going to work. Now, realistically, going to work today during these lockdown times means that we're going to the kitchen table, we're going to the dining table, maybe we're going to a dedicated study in our houses, but we're still doing work. We haven't been in the office. And organizations are now realizing that the 2 are different. Going to the office doesn't mean doing work. We can trust our employees to work in a truly flexible manner anyway and be productive. Now, clearly, there are some roles where that will change. But what we saw overnight back in April, March, depending on where you were, that when the locked-in kicked down, organizations that weren't ready had to rethink the way that they were going to connect users to the IT systems. And this brings me to the first point, an area that you probably heard me talk about before if you've ever heard me do a presentation. One of the most outdated concepts, I believe, in IT today is the secure LAN. Having this fictitious area that is secure inside our organizations that users can come and connect to access the business applications in a secure manner. This is a dated technology based upon the way that we used to work in the past. And today we've got to be in a position of not being able to trust any device that is on our network. Now, when we went into lockdown, organizations had to find ways to get those users working, connected to the LAN in a secure manner. And we saw massive growth of technologies like legacy VPN, connecting a client device all the way through to the corporate LAN so they could access the business applications. In the modern world, this model simply does not work. It's not secure enough. And why do the users have to connect through into a LAN to then be able to access their applications? We need to rethink this and do this in a different way. We should be looking at things like zero trust, not trusting any of the devices. Be looking at our applications in such a way as to how can I secure them to work anywhere, but still be as secure as I need them to. Look at focusing on securing the data and the applications rather than the network itself. With all of these things, we can rethink the way that we are managing end user computing technology, workspace technology, to be more flexible, to be more relevant, to support us on that journey to the cloud that we're going on. The applications are no longer in your data center, so why get the users to connect into your LAN to then be able to access the last few legacy systems? It simply doesn't make sense. We need to rethink this. We need to do this in new and innovative ways. We need to be looking at things like per application VPNs, or if we need a LAN, have a look at abstraction, have a look at things like WVD or VMware Horizon to create a virtual desktop that means the users can use any device still to connect to your secure LAN to then access those applications that are required. The next area is all around the devices and how we manage and maintain these. So let's first of all reflect a little bit on the devices. We've already said that that legacy PC that was under the desk isn't the most important thing anymore. It has changed, it is radicalized, and it is now a wealth of different devices. We're also seeing new types of devices come out all the time. These are just a selection of Microsoft and Dell devices largely, few Poly devices, Yealink devices that we're seeing customers, users, colleagues working with on a regular basis. Us as IT professionals need to stop thinking about these devices as being a Windows device, one per user, that we're rolling out and managing. If you're managing that one device and you're managing that device well, you are leaving a whole raft of other devices unsecured and out of control. They could be the weakness in your chain that would cause the problem inside your network. So we need to rethink the types of devices, the experiences the users need to have. Is using an iPad really productive for them? And whilst we can't afford to give our employees iPads, we've got to think how we can adequately manage them and give them the flexibility to bring their own. Make it easy for them to share the data to and from it, but make sure it's done in a secure way. That when we go into meeting rooms, we can have meetings with people that are far and wide as well as close to us and work productively with the Surface Hub devices. That when the executive sits down on his desk and wants to make a call, he can pick up a telephone to make that call that is connected to Teams, or use one of the new Teams displays to have a really easy meeting, but be really successful in doing so. We've got a number of great sessions this afternoon by Dell looking at all of their different types of devices and helping them match through to the different personas you will have with the colleagues inside your organization. Highly recommend you watch those. So as we're changing, as we've already mentioned, we're moving away from this secure LAN to have zero trust and have everyone connected, not necessarily over a WAN, but it would be as if they were. They could come into the office and they should get exactly the same experience as if they were working from home or in Costa or in Starbucks. It should be quick, it should be easy, it should be the same experience, but it should also be flexible, meaning they can pick up any device that they want to be able to pick up and be in any location. Now, the ways that we manage devices in the past have generally been focused on managing devices that are connected to your LAN. And these are some of the reasons why we're hanging on to technologies such as VPNs. because they've got to be on the LAN to allow us to manage them, to allow us to update them. Technologies like Active Directory, Group Policy, SCCM or WSUS are all designed around that legacy of having devices connected to the LAN. We need to move forward with that zero trust principle, focusing on the applications and the data, managing the devices where we can and where we need to, but it needs to be a cloud-centric model. It needs to be a model where those devices can be anywhere and we can still connect to them, update them, provision them, end of life them. Whatever it is we need to be able to do, we can do that flexibly. And this is exactly what technologies like Microsoft Endpoint Manager or VMware Workspace ONE are allowing us to do. Both of those technologies allow us to bridge that gap from the on-premises SCCM-like technologies to a cloud management paradigm. And this means that we get that true flexibility as users and IT administrators to work in a flexible way, but be secure. If you check today's agenda, Joe from Computer World has got a fantastic session looking at one of those features, Autopilot. This allows you to be able to ship devices directly from us here at Computer World to your users, and it is built upon demand. It is built in such a way that the user opens it up and the applications, the security, their data, everything is able to be ready in front of them when they open it. It saves IT a job and it gives the users this new fantastic out-of-box experience that they've come to get used to with technologies like iPhone and Android phones. Now, the final area in this section that I want to talk about is the adaptation and customization of applications. In IT, we've been very guilty in the past of rolling out a technology and deeming it a success when the technology is installed on the end user's device, our colleagues' devices. Now, that's got to change. That isn't what a successful outcome looks like. A successful outcome is that when a business driver is met, when there is positive change inside an organization. So we need to rethink the way that we're looking at applications. And a large amount of our applications today are software as a service. They're very different to the way they were before. We're seeing technologies like Microsoft 365 be mass adopted inside organizations. But also there are other technologies out there like Salesforce. And I think we've heard this morning that Salesforce has now acquired Slack as well. So there is very much the kind of competition by the vendors to kind of be the hub for communication, for collaboration in our workspaces. But take a look at some of those applications on screen. Think about how successful have you driven adoption for these applications in your organization? Have you engaged with the users and truly figured out actually what their challenges are and which applications could be helping them? Are you confident that all of your colleagues know how to communicate and collaborate in a way that is set for your business? So everybody can find their data. Everybody knows where to find the communication. Everybody knows how to communicate inside your organization. That means that no one is left out. It is very clear. It is friction-free. These are all areas here at Computer World that we're spending so much time helping organizations be more productive, collaborate more effectively, and communicate as one across an organization, especially looking at the different types of communication. Now, following this session at 10 o'clock, we've got a session, The Art of the Possible with Microsoft 365, where Megan, one of our 365 coaches, and Anthony, our business consultant, look at how we as an organization help our customers on the journey to better adopt Microsoft 365. Ultimately, make sure the users can be successful, more productive, driving those business outcomes with the technologies that are in 365. And we truly believe that as we go through that process, that is a mixture of both technology and business change. That is the only way that you can be successful with these technologies inside your organization. So what I would urge you to do is go and look at the agenda today if you haven't already. Make sure you watch the Art of the Possible session. Make sure you watch the panel session later on today. And then go and look through the breakout sessions and figure out which sessions will help you on your journey to modernize, truly revolutionize the way that your organization delivers end-user computing, workspace technology inside your business. We've got a couple of live sessions this afternoon. We've got one on Power Apps delivered by MVP Rory, and we've got one myself on Microsoft List looking at the advanced use cases. And if you've not even looked at Microsoft List yet, there is an on-demand session available later on today as well that hopefully will help you on that journey. I thank you for joining me today for this keynote. I hope you find the rest of the content interesting. During the sessions, there will be live chat, so please engage. Please ask the questions that you've got. If we here at Computer World can help you on that journey with our specialist team of workspace transformation consultants, please reach out to us, because we want to be your partner in helping make these technologies truly changing for your organization. Thank you ever so much for watching this session. Be sure to watch the next session at 10 o'clock, Art of Possible with 365.